it's, I tell you right now, it's a lot of it has to do with hunger. I can, when I teach right now and I interact with students, I can tell who's going to take it far and who's not. And it has to do with hunger and how much you really want it. So it's a personal drive. But for me, like right now, I get a lot of my practice basically just teaching, being able to draw on the chalkboard, you know, every weekend, and then drawing constantly through the work week. I'm drawing a lot, so that in itself is my own practice. When I was in school, you know, I'd be spending many hours, you know, endless nights just drawing constantly. There really is no limit to how much you should do. If you felt like you've drawn enough, draw more.
Awesome. We have a new question from Ricardo, who asks, as an illustrator, how important is it to have a style to work in the games, games or movie industry? And he asks, is it better to be more versatile?
Yeah, being versatile is really important because that opens you up to be able to work, you know, in different genres. So you know, people out there in the industry are looking for one particular style of artist. So let's say one company is looking for a character designer, and you get a freelance job for that. You can work for that. But then another company comes along and says, "Oh, we're looking for a vehicle designer." You can say yes to that as well because you can do that. So being versatile will give you a lot more different opportunities to work for different companies and just have a lot more basic opportunities, I guess. If you're focused on one style or one genre and some guy comes along and asks you, can you do an environment piece for me? And you say no, well then there's a lost job, a lost contact. So definitely keep it versatile. If there's something that you find difficult, you're afraid to do, overcome it. You know, really practice on something that you're uncomfortable with. You know, for me initially it was environments. I was very uncomfortable with environments because I couldn't do them very well. I still can't do it as good as a lot of other people out there. But I try my best, and I still tackle it because it may be an uncomfortable zone, but I know if I were to keep doing it, I know I'll be able to still get more work because of that. In terms of styles, mostly in the video game industry, there really isn't too much of a style. I mean, they do create style guides, but you develop those as you work with the company. So if you were to go into animation or film, obviously that's a bit more of like a dogma or a Bible where you have to kind of follow their specific style that they create. So for me, I've always been able to adapt pretty easily, and I think that word adaptability is pretty important. More than anything, just be versatile in the kind of genres you can do first, and then think about styles later.
All right. Thanks for that answer, Peter. Our next question is from Fernando Acosta. Says, hi Peter, thanks for the great workshop. It was a nice compliment to your Gnomon tutorial. I was wondering, how was your experience working with Mark Garner, and how did that come about? Any clue if the BTS short is coming out anytime soon?
Wow, well, that project's been in the works for a long time. I started that back in, what, '06 now? It's been a long time. And being able to work with Mark, I mean, he's just an amazing conceptual artist. Because he also can do, he's also very versatile. He can do characters, creatures, environments, props, weapons really, really well. And his work always blows my mind because I saw his personal work and I was just like, oh my God, there's no way I can compete. And I still can't compete with someone like him because that guy is just, one, he has a lot more experience than I do. And just, some people are obviously out there in the industry, you're always going to find somebody that's way better than you. And he's one of those kind of guys that just blows so many people away. And I look up to him. His work is very inspirational. So it was a big honor for me to at least be able to just be within his presence and for him to see my work and give me pointers and all that kind of stuff. So he was great, definitely. In terms of the BTS, I guess that'll really depend on. I don't know really. I guess we're still kind of working on it, but it was fun for me. I mean, that experience was a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs, and I don't know. It was great.
And actually, I won't add anything to that. I'll leave it alone. Our next question is from Rena Chang. Rena asks, when you say mileage, do you mean just drawing as much as possible? And what should a beginner be drawing anyway?
Mileage is another word, I guess, for practice, definitely. In terms of what you'd be starting with, with the workshop that I had, being able to at least, understand the materials you're using, and then the most foundational stuff like lines, ellipses, circles, just being comfortable in the fact that you're not going to sit there and noodle it, like, scratching away and trying to find a form, that you can be confident and hit those shapes and forms without being able to think too much. So it's also, going out on location is a huge part of it as well. For me, it's practicing drawing observationally first helps a lot, and then it kind of transfers over to being able to draw with your imagination. So mileage is just practice. Practice a lot, draw a lot. Wherever you are, always have a book or at least pens on you. So even if you're just drawing on napkins, I do that a lot, especially when we go to a restaurant or something like that. I'm constantly drawing. Even if I'm not drawing on paper, I'm thinking about it in my head. With this class, it's kind of weird because you see things differently after a while. You go out, on the streets, and you start to just break things down in the most simplistic forms. And I do that constantly. I'll look at any shape or any object, and I just do it automatically. I don't even think about it. It's like, oh, I don't even consider it sometimes. I'll realize it that I'm doing it. And the more you do it, you'll start to do it yourself, and it just makes you that much faster and better as a sketch artist. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Peter. Our next question is from Sar Botman. I'm not sure if they have a mic. So, Sar, if you're there, can you say hello?
Hello?
Hey.
Hi.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good.
All right. Our question was just how important do you think it is to finish your art education before jumping on the first job offer that comes along? Let's say you're in third year.
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I know a lot of people that have done that where, they'll start school and they get a job offer halfway through and they take it. They've taken it. And in my personal opinion, definitely look at the opportunity, see if it's something that's going to, grow into something. Look at the potential of what the job is. If it's like a small freelance gig, I would say pass it up. If it's a full-time job, into a big project, I would definitely consider it. With education, you can always go back and finish it. With job opportunities, they only come once in a blue moon sometimes. So it's always good to be able to take that risk and jump on it. One thing, risks can reap benefits, so don't be afraid to do that kind of stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, our next question, I'm going to go back up to one Miguel asked earlier. Basically, he says, in my country, there aren't concept art programs, so I'm going to take a master's in illustration. Do you consider those skills of an illustrator important while working as a concept artist?
Yeah, absolutely, because I myself was an illustration student at Art Center. At the time when I was taking Art Center, there was no entertainment track. I had to create my own track in terms of entertainment design. So when I was at Art Center, I was a illustration major. So when I first started, my first half of my education was, painting, drawing, foundation of human anatomy, color, composition. So that definitely helped me a lot. But I also expanded my education and sought out different kinds of, well, not just illustration-based, but I did a lot of design work as well. So I went into product design, industrial design, and I've tailored my own education to what I want it to be. So if you don't have entertainment in, where you are, and if you have something like illustration, definitely take that, because those kind of skills will help. No matter what kind of education you're getting, if it's industrial design, car design, product design, illustration, those skills that you're learning in any kind of track are going to help as a designer. Expose yourself to everything and anything, because the more you see, the better you'll get.
Thank you, Peter. That was a great answer. Our next question, I'm going to jump back up to Ismail Wamalas. Is asked, as an in-house concept artist, are there times where you are required to